Well, this is Wednesday's wonderful webinars, and I am Beth Pinchot, and I'm very proud to have been asked to do this, and I appreciate your attention, and I'm hopeful that we can be very interactive, and I want to be very, very interactive. So if you have a question or a comment, in fact, there are several slides I'm going to show where I need you to give me ideas. When I worked with Leanna at the very beginning of this endeavor, she asked me to sort of set up kind of a bulleted list of what this session would deliver. And so these are the highlights of the bulleted list. So first of all, we're going to make goal setting fun and accessible. I'm hopeful that you all leave here equipped with the powerful goals engine that we have to show you tonight, tuned up and ready for your club. And then we will leave you on the road to distinguish for your club starting the first time you meet this year, unless you already met this morning, and it's not too late even if you did start just today. So my hope is that you leave very inspired and ready to kick off with a great year. Toastmasters has been around long enough to have documentation and a tool for absolutely everything. So let's jump into making goal setting fun and accessible. Well, it's me. I'm here to make it fun and accessible. That's what this one's all about. But we are going to dive into the moments of truth. So moments of truth is a couple of words that we say as Toastmasters, and it's kind of like, it's like Toastmasters ease. I've gone to church quite a lot in my life, and there's words that people in church use, and we call them Christianese. So we'll call this Toastmasters ease. It's the language of Toastmasters. And the moments of truth is one of those things that I've heard number of times. I've heard folks talk about, well, you got to do the moments of truth. Well, it was kind of ambiguous to me, and I never really looked at it. But I did take an opportunity a few weeks ago to give a hot seat speech with my club in Hillsborough to review the moments of truth. And I was indeed truly inspired. So what are these things, these crazy, silly, wonderful moments of truth? The moments of truth are every single time that a person encounters an aspect of Toastmasters. If they encounter that and have an experience that forms an impression of the club's quality or service, that's a moment of truth. The great thing about a big phrase like this is that it doesn't make it any clearer. But it does give us pause to kind of wonder. So if I encounter an aspect of the Toastmasters experience, what is that? Could that be when I go to their website? Could that be when I use an email link to contact us? And if I contact us, am I contacting Toastmasters International, or am I contacting, your specific club? There's a lot of things that these moments could be, but Toastmasters has given us a framework of 6 that we can really look at, hone in, workbook, and dig into as a club. This is something you can do for yourself personally, for your office or executive team. You can even throw these moments of truth out to your entire club. There's no wrong way for you to examine your club and the moments of truth. We're going to take a minute and go each slide, each of these bullets. So when you think about first impressions, this is the interactive time. When you think about first impressions, what are some examples of first impressions? You have to unmute and tell me.
It's about greeting.
Greeting, yeah, greeting's a good one.
Smiling, first impression when you go on a date.
There it is.
Right?
Yeah. Eldred.
Are the people you meet at the club friendly? And not just with guests, but also with each other?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, folks can sense tension, and you don't even have to say anything, right? Yeah, I think too, one of the ones that we get lost on a little bit personally is that our web face, how we look to folks that don't come in the door yet. Mm-hmm. There's a first impression that happens there too. All right, well, Toastmasters thinks that this is a good set of ideas when we look at that. Our guests greeted warmly and introduced to folks in the space, our officers, our members. It's great now because we're in Zoom, so everybody gets a chance to sort of, hey, I haven't seen you here before. and we get a little bit of chat time ahead of the meeting. But that does inhibit our ability to use the guest book and name tags. But when we get back to our spaces, oh my goodness, I can't wait to use my name tags. One of my favorite little hacks that I learned at a TLI a few years ago was to laminate your name tags so that when you have guests, you can use a whiteboard marker and write their name on it, and then you can just erase it and you've got another name tag for a guest, and it's the same professional tent or whatever you're using, and it saves your club money to do that too. So that's a fun thing you can unbox when you get back into the physical space. Is your room professional, and is it organized in a way that makes somebody want to be there? You don't think it matters so much, but it matters. Is it convenient for them? And are they invited? Is each guest invited to address the club and to join ultimately? So those are our first impressions, things that we can think about there. Anybody have anything you want to add?
I'll just add, I'd like to invite the guest to come and sit beside me. So rather than to say, take a seat somewhere, no, come sit beside me.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, our next item is the membership orientation. This is something that can really go by the wayside if you don't pay attention and aren't intentional with your membership orientation. Some people get in well and they succeed and they start, heading into Pathways, and some folks sign up and they write their check and maybe you don't see them again. Some of that I think we can control as club members and officers, and some of it we can't. But let's imagine that we can for every single person who signs up to be a member. So there's formal induction scripts that give people a recognition, and we can recognize folks with pins and manuals and mentors. We can help them and recognize them with each of their successes as well, and getting them plugged into club activities, getting new members connected to a scheduled speaking time for their first speech, getting folks commit the accommodations that they might need. In one of my clubs, we have a gentleman who is visually impaired. He's legally blind. And when folks do this, he has no idea what's happening because he can't hear it. So in our club, we clap with loud claps so he can hear it over the camera. He's showing us his face, but those claps are so important. And it's something that we just kind of made an accommodation for him. And it's not a hard one. By golly, we know how to clap. So I think that these are membership orientations are really big, big opportunities for us. If you don't have a formal plan to onboard a new member, they're not likely to be any more successful than a new employee who has never understood what their role is. Certainly we can learn by watching, and we do teach by example. We model that. But my gosh, if you got really specific with every member and gave them that focused attention and said, I acknowledge you, I want to know who you are, and I want to help you build out this Toastmasters experience for your benefit. Awesome. All right, the next moment of truth: fellowship, variety, and communication. Gosh, that's a lot in here. What do you guys think that means?
Do fun things outside of the meeting, like
do
go
fun things.
Go out for coffee afterwards or something like that.
Nice. Yes. That's awesome. Anybody else?
Variety. Both of my regular weekly home clubs do themed meetings every week.
That's awesome. Is that a big lift, or are you just used to it?
Oh, I'm not sure I understand the question, but we're used to it because we've been doing it for so many years.
That's awesome. I was wondering if
I think it makes an impression on visitors, because when we have a theme, the Toastmaster makes remarks during the transitions related to the theme, and the table topics master asks questions related to the theme. And sometimes, this is a little more challenging, but the speakers actually relate to the theme as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you said themed meeting, I thought you meant like Hawaiian themes. or
But we just have a
Occasionally we'll do
theme
that.
every single week, and it's often related to what's going on the calendar. Like I expect next Sunday's meeting will probably be related to the 4th of July, but it could be different aspects of the 4th of July. Maybe like barbecues, summer barbecues, or patriotism, or fireworks, or whatever the Toastmaster chooses.
Wonderful. And do you guys do that, like, do you plan that curriculum out as an officer team, or do you, as the Toastmaster, just get to choose themselves?
We used to put out a schedule for the entire year. We would plan each week's theme, and now we don't do that anymore. We let the Toastmaster for the week decide what the theme is going to be.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what we do. I think it's also create more involvement from the other people rather than the executive dictating what should be the whole year. I think it's a good idea to have whoever the Toastmaster is do that.
That's great. That's great. All right. Well, here's what Toastmaster says we can measure ourselves on. Are we, again, greeting guests warmly? Gosh, that's come up twice at least. All right. The meetings are enjoyable and educational, and there's also social events. But this was awesome to think about. Participation in the bigger group, not just your Toastmasters club, but in the area, in the district, encouraging folks to go to other clubs in the area, encouraging activities that are joint club activities. Hey, we're going to do a big membership drive. It takes a lot of work. Let's get a couple to go together and see what works best for these folks. There's a club in the same workspace that I am, and they meet on Tuesdays at lunch, and our club meets on Wednesdays at lunch. So, hey, we're going to have an event. We're going to bring visibility to it. Which day works better for you? And maybe that's the sort of opportunity that you could provide as an inter-club activity. And also, again, your web presence and making sure that your website is updated, that it shows the great activities that are happening. Those are very, very doable. Very doable. I do love it when the Toastmaster stuff, though, when they have the same bullets show up on multiple slides. The next one is the program planning and meeting organization. I have to tell you, I was in a meeting today and it was so tight. Everything we had documentation ahead of things. The Toastmaster made sure we filled all the time. We had one speaker. We needed to fill a couple roles, but it was all right. And it was such a great meeting. And I was so glad we had 4 guests there to see it. You ever have those meetings where you're like, oh, I hope we don't have any guests today. It's not going to be great. So one of the ways that you can, as a club and as you and your officer role, commit is to this moment of truth where we make a decision that we're going to have the agendas complete by Monday, and we're not going to meet, like we never not going to meet, but there's no option, right? We meet on Monday or we meet on Wednesday, and we have to be ready to go by Monday. Because otherwise, you can't do your laundry in time to be ready to go on your trip if you don't give yourself a little bit of time. All right. Projects. Oh, well, they're not manuals anymore, folks. I do love creative table topics, and I also love how clear Pathways is on the objectives of every single speech, that they're very intentional. This is the objective of this speech, is to blah, 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 right? And it's for every pathway. It's unique for every person. So that's fantastic. I think also equipping your club with the tools to have anybody fill any role at any time, because you have prepared and invested ahead of time on your members in their orientation to understand what a grammarian does, what a timer does, how to find answers to questions, where there are scripts. If it's a brand new member and they haven't been here very many times, there's a full script written for them. They only have to read it. And that's really helpful for folks who are not quick on their feet or don't really know where we are, what we're doing as Toastmasters. I think also the positive and helpful evaluations, that's really it's the biggest win I ever got out of Toastmasters. I never knew I needed evaluation like I know I do now. It's so powerful. All righty, membership strength. Oh, this one can be hard, especially when you're on the road to distinguished. because we have a limited resources, we're all volunteers, we're not sure where we can promote to. What other things inhibit your membership growth?
Can I speak? I think that you just naturally have attrition because people get busy and, you know, maybe they miss a few meetings and then they begin to slide, or maybe they have stage fright so bad they just can't surmount that, and then they just don't come anymore.
Yeah, and how do you backfill? How do you find folks again? It's a challenge, isn't it?
Yes.
It is. Well, there's some bullets for that. So the strength of the moments of truth, when you think of the membership strength, when you think about the moments of truth, do we have 20 or more members? 20 is what Toastmasters has indicated and really sticks to. 20 is the minimum. You really need to have 20 members in your club to function in a healthy manner. 7 of those 20 are officers. So that leaves 13 members that need support and would also become one of the next year's 7 officers. Ideally, you don't have folks playing double duty. So the idea that a minimum of 20 members is really going to help with the strength and the ability for the club. The more members there are in a club, the more members join the club, right? Because it's not a show of 4 or 8. Yes, those clubs, they happen, and we don't wish for that to happen. And we have coaching opportunities where the district will be happy to send people to that club in trouble. But a club is in trouble until they have 20 members. It gives folks a chance to take a vacation. It gives folks a chance to really speak on a regular basis and work their program and watch other people be successful.
Then I also wanted to comment, another reason to have 20 members is all 20 members usually can't make it every week.
Exactly.
So if you have 20 members and 5 of them are on business trips, then you're down to 15. So you can still have a pretty good meeting, but it takes that critical mass in order to maintain a good meeting presence.
Well, I think there are opportunities for promotion for the club's organization. You can utilize the other clubs in your area. You can use Meetup. You can have your vice president of public relations, who was selected from a cast of thousands, a cast of 20, to be the person on point to really focus on how we can find folks. You can tweet. Now we're on Zoom. My gosh, post your link to your meeting in your Free Toast host site or your Easy Speak. And one of my clubs has had guests from Bangalore. It was breakfast for them. It's after dinner for us, but it was perfect. And he participated in our meeting, and it was so exciting.
He was, but you know, one time since we were in Zoom, we had another, and I put it on our Facebook group, which is an open public group. And one person came in and started talking really negatively about a member. And it was like an ex-wife of somebody. So I actually had to bump her out. And then since then, I'm cautious. Should I put the link to Zoom, which is my personal, I use my own Zoom, on this platform and get it people that are not having the best of intentions. So that's been a little bit of a challenge for us. Sure. Even though we have 25 or 24 members. So we don't have a problem with the numbers, but I'm not that open to tell everybody to just come but I do say, if you want to join, contact me so I can get to know who you are and then make sure that you fit.
Definitely. And there are best practices with Zoom. I would be happy to chat with you after this. We do need to stay in our time, which is another wonderful thing about Toastmasters. But there are some tools and some things that you could use. And it is challenging because a lot of times we're strangers. And one of my other clubs meets at St. Vincent's in the hospital. And we've got, drifters that come in every once in a while. And you're like, I wonder how this is going to go. And that's okay, because they could be really fantastic Toastmasters. And so that's, it's an adventure, and the guests are an adventure, but it is a fun adventure, and it's a great problem to have when you're being noticed and people know how to find your club. That's a great problem to have. Awesome. All righty. So we're going to go now to the achievement recognition. I heard somewhere when I was younger that the most important thing an employee wants when you think about employee retention is that they want acknowledgement. They want to know that their work is seen. And when we can recognize our members and their achievements, it is so powerful for that membership retention. It shows us off as what, you know, and a potential new member might want. Gosh, did you see they got awards? They just gave 4 speeches and they got a level 1 award. That's amazing. And then you have so much pride. I have to tell you that some of the stuff I took off my wall for this tonight is Toastmasters. I put my certificates, I put my CC and my ALS, and I have them all pinned up here, you know, because I'm proud of that. And folks are proud of those things. And so to be able to have a weekly meeting where you have the opportunity to present recognition to folks, never miss a chance. Never miss a chance. The DCP, because you know acronyms are my friend, the DCP is something we're going to get to in just a second, but it is absolutely critical for planning and recognition. And Toastmasters equips us with so much. There are so many tools in the Toastmasters website that we just get them. I mean, so let's build a house, right? Let's build a club. Let's set goals and achieve them, because all the tools you could need are there. And there's progress charts, there's ceremonies, there's, you know, all the levels of the opportunity, all the way to international speech, right? And evaluations. It's so phenomenal for us as club leaders to be able to present our members to the district. When you were on the call on TLI on Monday morning, or Saturday morning, I'm sorry, you know, and there was 45 minutes of recognition. I was proud as the VPE of my club to see all of my members there. And, you know, Leanna, I saw you. We were so proud of your 3 clubs and all 10 goals, you know. Man, that's a real great achievement. It's not just an achievement for you, it's an achievement for everybody who participated in that marathon. It's a year-long marathon. So let's just kind of recap a little bit and think about these moments of truth, because I have a cliche for you. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So all of these individual, unique moments create an impression, be it a guest, be it a member, be it about the meeting, be it about the curriculum, be it about the leaders, whether you're getting achievement recognition. These are all moments that we can control and grow our clubs wicked, wicked strong. All righty. You guys want to talk more about the moments of truth?
Beth,
Yes.
this is Leanna. I think that one thing about the moments of truth that I think a lot of clubs don't do is to really set a whole meeting aside and talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
What's really great is if you're meeting on Zoom, you can do breakout rooms. So you can send some of your club members in to a breakout room and talk about first impressions and analyze, do we make a good first impression? Where do we need to improve? Somebody else can go and talk about orientation in another breakout room. So I think the Zoom platform really allows us to do those sorts of things, even though we're not in person anymore. Yeah. And it can be real eye-opening, because I think sometimes if we're club officers, we just think everything's going along so well, and everybody taking a look at these different aspects of the club, you can really bring some maybe some issues or places you can just improve, bring them to light, and then everybody can work together for a great resolution.
Mhm.
Can you see my my browser window here? This is a handout that you can print. It's the Moments of Truth, and you can not just leave it in your Sergeant at Arms bucket, but you can actually pull it out every meeting and have it front of mind, top of mind.
Just a reminder for those who were at TLI on Saturday, I announced that I am working with PJ and Lori on this year's trio to build an incentive for any club that conducts the full Moments of Truth by September 30th. So that's still on our agenda for the next couple of months.
That's awesome. Well,
You know, Beth,
oh, sure.
one thing I've noticed as an experience with our club is that sometimes it takes more than just one meeting. And if you feel like you're being rushed with this full Moments of Truth because there's so much to discuss with your within your club, just take the opportunity and spread it out over 2 or 3 meetings if you have to, because that way you get the full chance to really discuss all the things you need to.
It's true. That's very true. I think you could give a speech on each one of the 6 chunks and have an exercise, you know, each one of the 6 main bullets, and then have an exercise as a club to maybe even an anonymous poll where folks can kind of grade things, you know, and you can build some averages. I saw this chat. I've hid the chat the whole time because I'm a distractible human. But I love that even just little mints for icebreakers, right? Just give somebody a little something because, gosh, you did your first speech. Woo! We also had somebody today who said, do I time everything? I said, or he said, everything or just the speakers? And I said, well, everybody who speaks is speaking, so they're a speaker. Awesome. All right. Well, let me see here if I can get a few more faces. If I blow that up just a little bit, I keep it right underneath my camera so it looks like I'm looking at you, but I'm really looking at your faces. All right. So let's talk just real quickly in the rest of our time about the Distinguished Club Program. There are changes this year, and we will use the Distinguished Club Program to help us in our journey to being able to more positively, affirmatively utilize those moments to our benefit. So we're going to talk about these things. What is it? What's a club success plan? Just a high level, y'all. I heard there's another webinar about that. And then recognition on that tool set as well. All right, so what is a DCP? It's an acronym that a Toastmaster uses. It's the Distinguished Club Program. And I think that what we can do to start is to think about the Moments of Truth as an evaluation of our club. And that's an incredible starting point for you as a club to think about becoming distinguished. If you fall down on the job in several places in your Moments of Truth, those are easy places to take a look at it and pick up for your club. There are 10 goals, and I'm excited for the math joke, especially if you haven't been around a long time. There are 10 goals, 6 for education, 2 for membership, 2 for training, and 2 for administration. And if you think that doesn't add up to 10, well, then don't you hang up, because I'm going to show you. I ran through this with my husband last night, who's a math dude. And he's like, honey. I said, no. Shh. Spoilers. It's going to work for us. All right. So the Distinguished Club Program is a deliverable on the Toastmasters website. And if you go out to toastmasters.org and you search in the little search thing, 1111, that's the number of the Distinguished Club Program plan. It is a manual with 38 pages. 18 of the pages are the club success plan worksheets. Toastmasters doesn't repeat things for the sake of, repeating them. They don't give space where it's unnecessary, because if you've learned anything in evaluation, it's that you maybe didn't need to say that thing 3 times. We understood it. Or Have you thought about repeating that so that it comes through? Really key and really vital. Toastmasters repeats things that are imperative. And the deliverable 1111 is noted as an important resource for every single officer role. I had an opportunity, I told some folks a little bit earlier, I had an opportunity to deliver area makeup training for one of my clubs last year. And I mean, it got to be silly that I was able to remember this particular number because it's on every single thing. I said, y'all, this is important. We need to look this one up. The other thing that I love about that training as a group is that the president introduces you to the membership person, and the membership vice president introduces you to the education, who talks about the curriculum. The curriculum person introduces you to the sergeant at arms, or maybe the sergeant at arms introduces you to but each of the officer roles has a specific reason to greet a member, a guest, anybody, right? But they're so powerful when you see it all as a big clump like that. You cannot get out of officer training without knowing about the Distinguished Club Plan Program Manual. I hope that you remember forever and ever that it is 1111, not 4. I'm not going to dig into it, but as an executive team, I encourage you strongly to take the time. Maybe the president starts it out, because these are some really thoughtful questions that might be hard to answer in a group setting. But what do we think our club's values are? What is the most important thing to our club and to our executive team that we can operate inside of? Where are areas that we can grow? And every single club goal has a worksheet, a plan, a check-in state. This is what it's going to look like. This is how often we're going to check in on it. This is how we're going to know if we succeed. It's just work the program. It's here for you. All right, so what are the recognition levels for a club? We know about our pathways recognition. We got our level 1, our level 2, our level 3, our level 4, and our level 5. We know we can be distinguished Toastmasters as the highest award achievable by a member, but clubs get recognized, areas get recognized, divisions get recognized, districts get recognized. Y'all, Toastmasters is succeeding because they are recognizing and acknowledging everyone's engagement, commitment, and wins constantly. So if you do 5 goals, you meet the Distinguished Club. But don't stop there, because with just 7 goals, you are select distinguished. And with 9 goals or more, you too could be President's Distinguished. When you take a look at it and you focus on the goals, it is really, really phenomenal to watch your club make progress and deliver on those goals again and again. I was VPE for the last 2 years of my club. Both years we were President's Distinguished, and we hadn't been for the 2 before. I'm real proud of that. I'm not the Vice President of Ed this year. I don't hope it works out. But it is an entire executive committee's responsibility. And so that's why, you want to do that club success plan. All right, the membership stuff is a little funky when you look on the internet about how your members go. So for the membership requirement, you have to have, it's 2 separate things. If you are a healthy club at the beginning of the year, which is today, you have to have 20 members. And so if you start the new year with at least 20 members, you have to have at least 20 members at the end of the year. That one's pretty simple. If you start the year with less than 20 members, you have to grow 5. So in the examples that are here, I'm going to use my mouse and let you see it. These beautiful, oh, that's how it's working. This club here started the year with 13 members. And as of the date of this report, they have 9. But in order to meet the membership requirement, which is one of the required goals, you have to have the membership goal in order to qualify for distinguished of any kind and as a club. This club needs to have 18 members, right? And so then in this example, where the club started with 20, they have to keep 20. So if you start with 8, you need to get to 13. The Toastmasters always takes you from where you start and encourages growth. Anybody
Question. What if your base is 16? How many members do you need at the end of the year?
You must have 20.
Not 5 plus 5. 20.
Correct.
Yes.
You must have 20 or 5 more than you did. But if you had 16, why not go to 21?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That was a trick question.
I'm glad I answered correctly. Awesome. All right.
So I'm sorry, just to be clear on this is a little bit fuzzy with me. If you start out with a base of 20 and let's say you lose a couple during the year, you obviously have to, are you saying you have to get at least 2 more people back by the end of the year to meet that 20?
You have to, if you start the year with 20 or 25 or 70 and you lose some people, at the end of the year, you need to have 20.
You need to get back up to where you started.
20 is the minimum number that Toastmasters has determined is a healthy club.
Okay, so on the left-hand side, you have the base of 13. And you said with that one, you have to have 20 members or 5 new members. Why do you just have to have 5 and not 7 to come up to the 20?
So if you start under, then they want your club to grow, but they recognize that you're not going to maybe become a Hollywood superstar.
Okay.
So they want you to grow. So if you start with 13, 5 more would bring you to 18.
Okay.
Yeah, so the little clue here at the bottom is where you can see like what's the minimum we need to have.
Okay.
For the whole calendar, the whole Toastmasters year.
So if somebody started the year with 11, you want to have it at 20 members or a minimum of 16.
Yes, and this number, if they started with 11, this number here would say 16. And as
Okay.
soon as you hit 16, if that was the number you had at the end of the year, then you would be qualified for, you could participate in the Distinguished Club program.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And can I just clarify one phrase I heard? Something about whatever you start with, you have to get back to that level. That's not entirely correct. If you start with 30 members or your base is 30 and like your company lays off a whole bunch of people and now you're down to 15, you have to get back to 20. 20 is the minimum if you started the year with 20 or more. You don't have to go back to where you started. You just have to have at least 20.
Right.
Or if you were less than 20 and net growth of 5, up to
20.
Right.
Yes. That's why I titled this slide Unraveling Membership. It's a confusing spot. So there's lots of folks who are super pros in it. And as long as the final answer is 20, it's most likely right. But it's cool if it's a smaller number because your base started lower. All right, we're going to jump along. These are the goals. They are separated into 4 sections: education, membership, training, and administration. Okay, here's where the math gets tricky. There are 6 education goal options. This is your people in your clubs. You have 20 members and everybody's given a speech all the time working their program, not steering away from Pathways. This is absolutely achievable. The education goals for most clubs are not the problem. New members, you get a check for the first 4 new members. You get a check over here in this column, the status. And if you get 4 or more additional new members, you get another check. So you can grow 8 new members and get 2 checks. So we have 6 checks up here and 2 potential checks here. All right, y'all, this is the moment of truth, the one you were waiting for, not the moments of truth, just so we're clear. For the training, because Toastmasters knows that people who know what they're doing do a better job at their job, they want to train our club officers twice a year. Part of that is because there's more than you could learn in one 45-minute session. And part of that is because some clubs elect officers twice a year. So if you have 4 club officers trained for the first half of the year, and they all got registered and Eldred made sure they got written in the book of trained officers, then you get a check here, right there, one check. Oh wait, no you don't. You only get the check after your club has had trained officers twice. So for these 8 trained people, you get one check. You have to do it twice. Because Toastmasters wants to invest in your leaders, and you invest back that time, so you get a check. And also so you learn a lot of great things. All right, the last bit here is administrative stuff. Are your members renewing their renewals on time? It's September and March, that's when we take dues. Are they in? Yes. Then good. You get, oh wait, you have to wait for another check there. The club officer list. My first job as area director was to help a club, I didn't know this could happen, get access to Leadership Central because they hadn't gotten their club officers list in time. And so July 1st rolled around and no one could access any of the Leadership Central. Oh my gosh, that takes work. Toastmasters had to get involved. We had to call International. They had to help us log in and help assign the roles, and then they fixed it. It wasn't instant. So this last little line item here in the administrative stuff, getting your club officer list in on time, man, that is a pound invested saves a penny, invested saves a pound in the long run. It was a lesson I will never forget. Get your club officers list in on time. And if you can do both of those things, you get a check. So 6 checks plus 2 checks plus 1 check plus 1 check. That's the 10 goals. I told you the math would work out eventually. Thank you, PJ, for the magic that you have given to this slide, particularly because no one's seen this screen yet with the new goals, since we just are shutting down the legacy program right now. Which brings me to what's new in 2020-21. They extended, Toastmasters International extended the deadline for the Advanced Leader Silver requirements and the Distinguished Toastmaster through the Legacy program for 1 more year. And what's different about that for clubs that are participating in the Distinguished Club program is that the Advanced Leader Silver doesn't count for club credit anymore, but it is a requirement for the DTM. So the personal credit goes to the person who earned their Advanced Leader Silver, and the club will get credit for the DTM. So I'm going to go back to that other slide and just show you right here. If you get a DTM, you'll get a check here. And if you have any others, you'll get another check here. And that's the check mark or the line item that you will see for a DTM only. That's a legacy DTM. Pathways DTMs work the exact same way, but you will not see, you do not see, it is not present, the Advanced Leader Silver. Okay. So how do you track your club's progress? Well, you go to toastmasters.org. If you guys aren't already there 100 times a day, or at least a week, I don't know what you're doing with your lives. I have my password saved on every browser that I use, and I'm going to show you. PJ showed you a way on Saturday, and I thought it was a little complicated, so I'm going to show you a simpler way. Can you see my browser window? Perfect. Here is my toastmasters.org logged in. I'm going to go to Leadership Central.
Can't see your browser window. We're still seeing the slide.
Oh gosh, well let me share a different way then. Sometimes Zoom does funny things. Oh, there it is. All right, stop share. And now I'm going to share again. And I'm going to share my browser window. All right. Okay, so here you are on the homepage of toastmasters.org. You're going to go to Club Central, which is the most fun place to go, except for Pathways. And you're going to click on, I have to pick a club that I'm actually president of. So you're going to click on your club, and then you're going to scroll down. You can find it by clicking in other places, but you can get to your club's report right here in the club administration section of Club Central. There it is. What's my club's distinguished state? Well, let me reset the dates here. And I will show you, because in March, our club wasn't chartered, but now it is. And we have 20 members. I'm very confused. This is the PMI Portland one and not the waffle toasters that I was looking at. But it's fine. It's fine. But it is a nice way to go from Club Central straight to your club's distinguished state. And you can go back, you can click backwards and find out how you're doing in the area, in your division, and in your district. That's a thing you can do. But it's real nice to have it here because I'm already in Toastmasters.org. I can't help it.
I just want to mention, you don't even have to be logged in to get to these reports, by the way.
That's very true.
If you just go to Toastmasters.org and then hit the Leadership Central button and Distinguished Performance Reports, the problem with that is that it takes you to the worldwide reports, and then you have to drill down to Region 1 to District 7 and all of that, which is why I said once you go there, bookmark that. Then you have a shortcut straight to it. You don't have to log in or anything.
Right. And waiting for Toastmasters.org.
Yeah, there. So now if you were to bookmark that page, that is the District 7 page, and you can click to look at club level or division or area level.
Sure.
There is an option, sorry, this is Serena. There is an option right underneath the Toastmasters logo where you can put in your club number and go straight to your club.
Ah, okay.
Oh, in this guy here?
Really,
oh
yeah.
my gosh.
So
Oh,
you don't
yeah,
have to
your
use
club
your
number.
You just
Cool.
hit your club number and you're there.
Perfect. Look at how
Never saw
how
that
few
before.
clicks does it take?
Yes.
All right. The other thing that I learned from PJ, and that's why TLI is never something you should miss, is that there's an update reports place here. If you go to these beautiful reports, you can find out who got what awards. Because at some point in the Toastmasters year, someone's going to ask you who all got what this year from your club. And it's a nice way to be able to access these reports. It's important to note that this is for our district. And if you have asked for privacy, you get privacy. They are very respectful of what you have permitted to share online. All right. There's great reports out there. There's so much at Toastmasters.org. If you're not spending enough time out there, we can talk. I'll tell you another reason to go out there. All righty, so we're going to go back to our presentation and let's talk about the DTM requirements in Pathways. I thought about making this its own slide. Spoilers, we're coming to the end. It's important to note that there are some differences in the way Pathways DTM, what's required of a Pathways DTM as compared to the legacy system. And the biggest difference is that you have to be a club mentor or coach, and you have to be a club sponsor or conduct speechcraft or youth leadership program. You used to be able to do one of these three things and not necessarily either of those two things. So the purpose is that we would conduct a speechcraft and we would be able to see our members grow because folks are excited about what they've learned in those first few speeches. The DTM project is now what was the HPL, the High Performance Leadership Project. And all that information is available for you on the website that you're not spending enough time at. All right, that's everything that you need to know about being successful as a club, starting the year strong, knowing and getting really honest with yourself about where your club is on those moments of truth, and then executing against a club success plan. And those moments of truth is the results of that moments of truth. That's your evaluation for your club. So if you can exercise and implement changes based on that evaluation, you're going to be able to achieve distinguished easily. It's getting to President's Distinguished that is the goal you should set. Always set the highest goal because you're then most likely to achieve it. I have time for 3 questions. Yes, Lori.
This is not a question, more or less a comment, but when we did our moments of truth, well, we've done it several times, it was overwhelming. There was so many things that we could put down on our list. So we had a wise person that said, you know, don't just because we were so overwhelmed, we hardly knew where to start. take several of these things, something that's doable, and start with that. And try to achieve at least one or two of each set. Don't try to do them all at once because you probably won't make it. You might, but it'll take a while. So do something like you said, somebody said low-hanging fruit. Do those first and then work up, because you'll feel much better about yourself and your club. You see yourself achieving things.
Great. I don't see your name, but I think you can say something if you want. Who wants to go next?
I have a question. This is Todd. I have a question just on how the year will work in general. So the fall conference, is that going to be online? And the spring conference is yet to be determined, online or in person, or what?
I'm not sure that that is a question that we can answer at this very moment, but I would love to be able to take it after we finish the this webinar presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions about the Moments of Truth or the Distinguished Club program? All right.
I did want to mention about the Moments of Truth, the particular questions that deal specifically with interaction with guests. It's really good if you have guests there who can share their feedback on how well you interacted with them.
Yes, yes. Well, and I think sometimes you're right, where that can be very overwhelming as a club to look at all those things. But one of the things that helps me get through every day, because there's too much going on in the world, is what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
If there's a thing, an action that I can take, it's going to help everybody in the long run, because my spark can start somebody else's spark, which can somebody else might notice and try their thing too.